waiting for you.
Hey folks, man, this is Monk, and we are back with another episode of Classes of Cinematics. And I'm joined as always with my co-host Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo, yo, yo!
So today we got a classic of the modern crime noir variety, man. We're going to be talking about Carlito's Way from 1993. This film was released January 1st of 1993. It's directed by Brian De Palma. And the story goes like this. A free man after years in prison, Carlito Brigante intends to give up his criminal ways, but it's not long before the ex-con is sucked back into the New York City underworld. Reconnecting with his dancer girlfriend, Gail, Carlito gets entangled in the shady dealings of his friend Dave Kleinfeld, who also serves as his lawyer. When Carlito and Kleinfeld run afoul of shifty gangster Benny Blanco, it sets them on a dangerous path. And we got a bunch of characters in here, but I'm just going to highlight our main people, and we'll talk about some of these other folks later. But Al Pacino plays our main character, Carlito Brigante. We also got Sean Penn, plays his lawyer. And I want to highlight Penelope Ann Miller, who plays Gail. And we also got John Leguizamo, a.k.a. Benny Blanco from the Bronx. You know, so let's get into this story, man.
I mean, first things first, I feel like, this story, it thrives because of the realism aspect. It really watches like this man's real life reflection of, what he's going through, of his life. You know what I mean? And I like that, like the focus isn't on his past, but on, him trying to do the right thing moving forward. And, them giving us this aspect, like, okay, I do have a checkered past. Whatever the man I was then is not the man I am now, but how every twist and turn in his life, everyone he associates with, anyone he trusts or love is trying to pull him back into his old ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like that classic saying, like, soon as you get up, people gonna pull you back down.
I think that's interesting too, because his past does keep haunting him and bringing them back into these situations, bringing them around people. And like so many characters that we meet throughout the course of this, especially when he goes to the nightclub phase, everyone is just speaking on, how great he was or what he used to do or what used to go down, when he was around. I think the interesting part that gets this put into play, like when we meet him, he just beat a 30-year bid. He did 5. His lawyer got him out, got an early release. And he's free and clear. He's free of the life. He's free of everything, but he has in his mind, he kind of has nothing, this thing exhausted him. So the lawyer puts on the table this opportunity. Yo, why don't you run this club for me? And the only reason I think he takes his job is to get an egg so he can go and run off with. This is going to be, if he sits in here, he even tells him, he's like, all right, I'll give you some time. This will give me enough time to get some money. Then I could go away, probably some foreign country where the dollar stretches and live out the rest of my life, and wash my hands of all this. But as we said before, you can't really have one foot in and one foot out. And being too close to this stuff, it tends to pull you back in.
You're skirting the line. And one thing is, I applaud his effort for trying to just put everything behind him. But one thing that he could not let go is the fact that when you live a certain kind of life, you do feel indebted to those that help you. And the person that he feels indebted to is his lawyer, his friend, his confidant. He calls him his brother, is the one who's really putting the anchor on his ankles and weighing him down in every aspect of his current life.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale. And it's interesting, with the creators in this. We've got Al Pacino once again teaming up with Brian De Palma of Scarface fame.
For the same reasons why this film kind of reminds us of Scarface is the same reason why it excels, because it's nothing like it. You know what I mean? And like De Palma even said that he was worried about this one drawing heavy comparisons to Scarface. So they put in a lot of extra effort and emphasis in making sure that this one does not give the same energy, same vibes.
Yeah.
I
feel like Face was more like about the come up. And
absolutely.
They both have tragic endings, but this one is going around, it's giving you another angle of that story.
Another thing that's really cool, I think that it feels so real is because this was actually written by Edwin Torres, he's a Supreme Court judge in New York. And this is supposed to be like kind of like things. It's not his life story, but it's a compilation of the lives of people that he grew up with, you know, their story and the things that he saw.
I probably see also some of the people he encountered possibly with his law career, you know?
Absolutely. I think that's where he got his character for Kleinfeld, the dirty lawyer in this. And, you know, it's wild too, because this one actually, even though the film is called Carlito's Way, and that is the name of the first novel, the movie's actually based on the second installment, which is called After Hours, but they called it Carlito's Way because Martin Scorsese had already dropped the movie called After Hours and he didn't want confusion.
Yeah, it makes sense too, because this is kind of like more of his nightclub phase, you know, of the career. And After Hours, this could be looked at as the, you know, maybe the twilight time of your life. Like, this is the after, you know, after all the shine and brightness, after the day, the night just got to come, you know.
That's true.
But let's get to these characters, man. We got some interesting characters, especially Carlito Brigante, played by Al Pacino, which I thought it was crazy because we already got this guy playing a Cuban guy in in Scarface, which was wild. There's still some people that have a problem with that and his depiction of the Cuban. And now in this, he's playing a Puerto Rican, which is wild, bro. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And it's funny to me because they even have to say it in the first court scene. He's like, yeah, well, the poetic, the intro, because it does have a voiceover in a way at times, like Goodfellas. And he was like, yeah, I was just a young Puerto Rican boy. Yeah. So we just gotta remind us that he's supposed to be Puerto Rican. But regardless of that,
give him liberties.
Yeah.
In certain areas.
You know, I mean, there are some, you know, more white looking Puerto Ricans, man. You know, the Spanish culture is European based. So yeah, you're gonna have Louis C.K., man. He's Mexican. You know, but it's crazy, but he's a wild character, man. I mean, it's alluded to his past. We don't see the past, but so our impressions of him are mostly formed by the reactions to other people around him. Particularly in the beginning, that scene with his cousin, how his cousin is proud to be around him. He's like, yeah, you were a street veteran. Your name rang out here and it's cool. Why don't you come and visit me and do this drop? And it's like a lot of times when characters are meeting him in this movie, they reference how good of a guy he used to be in the streets. And I don't get the impression that he was necessarily a mean guy. He seems more like a stand-up square guy who did square biz for the most part, but got grimy if he had to.
But he was about his shit. If you crossed him, he was going to handle it.
But so it's an interesting dynamic they build up for him.
And the thing is like I say, when it comes to Carlito, he's very easy to root for because you know his heart is in the right place now. Like I like the way how they just keep bringing up his past in such a past tense, and he just keeps reminding people, I'm not that way now. So
not that guy anymore.
You root for him. He's on he's on this path to redemption. And, you know, opposite of him, sitting right across the table, is his lawyer, Dave Kleinfeld, played by Sean Penn, and he is on a path to destruction. Like, Carlito even references, he was like, yeah, you know, when I first met him, he was a scared little lawyer riding around with a crowbar under his seat because he was scared of his clients, but he ain't scared now.
It's weird. I get the impression that he's empowered and gets a thrill just by being around these guys, even though he's just on the case of a lawyer, but it's like if I was imagine Tony Soprano's lawyer suddenly getting more entrenched into the mob lifestyle and being emboldened by just being in proximity. My man started carrying a gun.
I feel like
and wilding out.
I mean, I feel like, you know, after a while, you know, it might start off as just, you know, this is how he makes his money. Then, you know, being intrigued a little bit and then wanting to just swim in the water. Like he's so intrigued by the life that he wants to swim in the pool. But
that part is crazy to me. When he, like in the very beginning, gets Carlito out and he offers Carlito the business proposition. I'm like, this has gone beyond professionalism. You know, being a defense lawyer, it's morally ambiguous in my opinion.
Yes.
But then to go to the further fact was like, yo, I'm going to invest in this business entrepreneur with a known gangster.
Yeah. And another thing that I really like about, you know, Kleinfeld is how Sean Penn really dove into the character. Like we were talking earlier.
He's good, man.
You really don't even recognize him. He is
really
the one,
good, dude.
He's the one who decided to like shave the front part of his hair to give the impression of a receding hairline and went and got the perm and everything to just really just totally embrace this character. And not to say like that by doing this, it made him look like a scumbag. It just really enhanced everything by making himself so unrecognizable. You know what I mean? This film could have just as easily been called Kleinfeld's Way. You know what I'm saying?
Kleinfeld's Way,
And then, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, their stories are running parallel. And, you know, speaking of scumbags, too, I mean, you got Luis Guzman as Pachango. Maybe he wasn't exposed as a total scumbag until the end, but you knew he had scumbag intentions because he's constantly clocking what everyone else is doing.
He's
and making
good for hire, bro.
How he's hurt.
And the thing about this, we're calling him a scumbag, but bro, ain't no honor among these thieves, man.
That's
Like there is some moral, and you're rooting for Carlito, but honestly, how do we know everything he's done? He might have done some stuff that we could look at and be like, man, this is an equally scumbag character. So
that's why they didn't show us his past.
It's kind of funny to me.
So we can't do that. That's why they didn't show us that shit.
So when I look at these films, like everything's fair in this thing, man. This is true. There are, you could be like, that's messed up what he did, but dog, that's the game that these guys are living in this world. And you know what I'm saying?
It also shows
it's jacked up, bro.
It shows that just
good.
because Carlito's trying to do right, everyone around him is not on the same path. But then he's bound by his honor code. It's just it's
have
crazy.
A code. A man must have a code.
Must have a code.
But as Omar from The Wire has demonstrated, everybody ain't got a code, and that's the world that you're living in, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, even you look at a character like Omar, that's crazily ambiguous. Like I'm cool with you because you robbed the other dealers, the guys that are putting it on the line to sit on the corner and pitch all day and run a spot, and you're robbing them. You're not no better. Like you're just, it's just a whole circle of degenerative behavior and scumbaggery. You know what? And there's levels of hierarchy, surely. Yes, but it's all morally
it's all
not good.
Well, you know, and that's, you know, not for nothing. That's why I do like John Leguizamo's character as Benny Blanco from the Bronx, because even he's not a scumbag. He is who he is, and you know this from the beginning. He's kind of a scumbag. I mean, he is.
He was about to lay that woman out in the club, yo. He's about to put hands on her in front of everybody.
He's not wearing a mask with his scumbaggery. Man. He's not portraying himself as one thing. He's leaning all the way into his gangsterism. You know, he is who he is, and he don't pull no punches with it. Like, you know,
they all scumbags, bro.
He tries to show Carlito respect at first because he thinks they on the same page. When he finds out they not, he's like, all right, cool, you're not a friend, you're an enemy, so I'm gonna treat you as such. But he leans into his role so good as well, because I mean,
he's good. He's charismatic.
This is one of those movies where you can tell like how much range Leguizamo has by watching future performances. Because in this, he could have easily got typecasted. They're like, oh man, this dude, you know, he portrayed this gangster very well, and we want him to do that in his career, and he'll be known for that. But you know, the fact that he was able to then come, you know, do this and then give us films like The Pest or, you know, Violator and Spawn.
He's really good, man. He's a really good character actor, bro.
And I mean, not for nothing. Yet again, this film is just is
like there would have been a good argument for him getting a best actor nomination.
Absolutely,
for, you know,
and that's the thing.
Actor.
That's what I can't understand how this film. I mean, I know now it is more revered, but it got bashed in the beginning. But this film, like, it really helped create careers, especially for Luis Guzman and John Leguizamo. You know what I mean? And then also my man John Ortiz, who was Guaro, Carlito's cousin, and all he did was just get, you know, a deal gone bad and get his throat cut. You know what I'm saying? But it's, you know, it made him a shining star too. It's like it wasn't just about how well Al Pacino and Sean Penn did. It was about how well the whole cast did as a whole. Because that
was a rough year, bro. I could be wrong with the what's up, but this film was up against The Piano, Fugitive, Schindler's List. Like it was a stacked year, buddy. Like it's crazy. Anthony Hopkins, best actor for I'm pretty sure that body was Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, bro. Like nah, that wasn't actually. Dang. So the Silence of the Lambs was not. I gotta look it up, but yeah, it was stacked, bro. This was a tough time to be making movies and trying to get some awards.
Yeah, but this one it's worth its weight in gold, and you know, and I like it because, you know, it just, like I said, it gives us so much, and then I also like what we get from Gail, because she kind of like just softens everything up. You know what I'm saying? Like, where we got all this gangster stuff going on, we got, you know, scumbaggery going on, you got, you know, everything going on with Carlito and everyone around him, and then you just get this softness from Gail. Like, it shows that this man that has pretty much been numb to this life and been, you know, kind of hardened at the edges around, you know, all of these situations, these people that he's around, he does still have a soft spot, and he is still willing to make himself vulnerable.
You could do better, Gail.
Yeah, maybe Gail, maybe she could.
Stop messing with these thugs and criminals.
You know, thugs need love too, though. You know what I mean? But her portrayal is good. I mean, it shows how, like, when you can see, you know, whatever she saw in him, she saw beneath what was on the surface. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and she led with her heart with that, and she does a great job portraying that.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. You know, and you know, she and she's probably one of the few that is telling them to, like, stop doing this. Leave this stuff alone.
The only one that's really in his corner.
Leave this alone.
She's the only one that he can really truly trust, and that has good intentions.
And even everyone else is trying to get something out of him. Even Benny Blanco wants the prestige that comes with being friends with this guy. You know, that's crazy, bro. Like, you know, and that conflict is so wild to me, and it's wild because, and I think, you know, we asked, like, why was Carlito so mean to him? And the fact of the matter is, Billy Blanco was young Carlito.
Yes.
And he's seeing himself reflected in him, and he doesn't like it. And it's not like, I don't think he's necessarily mad at Billy Blanco himself as a person, but the idea of Benny Blanco. Like, that was me. And he hates what he was and what it cost him in his life, his time in prison, and his relationships. So seeing Benny Blanco come around to him, it's almost like, my everything that was bad about me is just standing here right now trying to be my friend.
But what we get from Viggo Mortensen as Laline, like, you could tell, you know, without seeing any of the stuff in the past, that this was somebody that was close to him. And when he comes wheeling in, you know, using his, now the fact that he's paralyzed from the waist down because of whatever happened to him in the streets, you know, as an excuse to try to set Carlito up and drop, wire tap him and everything. Bro. It's like, dude, and then, you know, and then once he gets jammed up, he starts crying the blues, talking about how all he has is his wheelchair and his diapers. That's fucked up.
Viggo could have got another supporting actor.
Yes, he could have.
For his 6 minutes of, like, dude, like, it's funny. This is another white guy playing Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
But I think Viggo was more bothered than Pacino in this.
He was. His accent was great. Cocksucker! Almost every conversation, almost any time, you know, one of our main characters is talking, they speak in quotables. There have been so many quotables that have been taken from this film. Yeah. You know what I mean?
A lot of rap music.
Yes. I mean, the whole intro of Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt is the pool hall scene when my man, okay, I'm reloaded, you know, all that stuff. So, I mean, I
wonder why they did that, because I don't know. So I got a different opinion. I hate that guy pain in the ass, as he calls himself. Like, it's stupid. Like, but maybe it was also a time where, you know, in history with the rap music where maybe sample clearances were getting more scrutinized, and it would have been difficult for them to use that for the movie. So you get someone else to reenact those parts, you know,
switch the words up just a little bit, just so you don't get that copyright infringement.
So maybe it could be looked at as a parody instead of, you know, which you could get away with a lot if you're doing a parody. You know?
And another thing that really works is the shell that they got us in. I mean, they submerged us in East Harlem? You know what I'm saying? 1975.
It's like the Bronx, Harlem. They kind of touch each other.
It feels like
definitely New York City.
Yeah, you know, it feels like it was shot on location. It feels like we are in there. We're just watching this man navigate through, you know, this part of New York in this time. And I mean, it really hits, you know what I'm saying? And these certain areas they take us, like I said, the subway station, you know, it's like, oh man, I think it's that, or just like cruising up and down through the streets, or like I said, in the pool hall scene, all these set pieces, they carry a lot of weight and just really help emphasize everything that this film brings to the table. You know what I mean? And also I want to shout out Carlito's trench coat, because that is one of the coolest jackets. It's got a lot of versatility. It's like, you know, he makes it look like a gangster coat, but the Crow could wear it too. You know what I mean? It's just like, I want one.
Yeah, man. So yeah, this is a pretty cool thing. It all comes together, man. Like I said, I think one of the biggest contributions, you know, like I said, this is a highly coded film. You know, a lot of music's built off of this. They even sample some of the music that appears in the score, you know what I'm saying, of this film, which it's interesting. One of my favorites is a song called Crush Linen by Lakey the Kid from the 41st Side of Queensbridge album, you know what I'm saying? And it samples that court scene where he's, you know, convicted felon. You're, blah, blah, blah. The judge tells all this stuff to him and then, it comes in. But yeah, there's some music in this film. If you are a hip hop head, you will notice that this music has became, beats, from classic songs, man.
Patrick Doyle did his thing with the score. Like my favorite song in this is that Long Walk when Kleinfeld's walking to go see Tony T. That boom, boom, boom. Boom. DJ Paul ended up using that as a sample for one of their Project Pat songs.
3 6 Mafia.
Yeah. And that joint goes. You just added some bass to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Troublesome music right there. Love me some stuff like that.
yeah, definitely, man. But yeah, man, I think we could probably wrap this up, man. This is definitely one of these fun rewatches, man, putting this back on again. And, just going through these beats. Honestly, man, it's I got to look at his filmography. There was some stuff on the later end that came after this that I haven't seen, but this might be, probably Brian De Palma's last great film. You know what I'm saying? That he actually was involved in, and this is a guy that's had really very complicated filmography. There are times where he swings and he misses, something like Snake Eyes with with Nicolas Cage. But then you're going back to, this is the same guy that made Carrie. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is the guy that made Scarface, and a bunch of other, crazy classic films,
And, I appreciate the ambition. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't strike out if you don't swing the bat. I applaud his effort and energy and at least attempting to try to put his best foot forward. And, every film ain't going to be a great film. That's just what it is. But even though, like I said, this one was kind of critically roasted at its time, it didn't fail. It came in on a $30 million budget and it grossed $64 million. So, it doubled down. So maybe it didn't do what they were anticipating, but it did still do enough to not cost them money in the long run. And this one, it has a large following. It is, it is an iconic film. You speak the name, everyone knows the film. And like I said, I enjoyed the mess out of my rewatches just because of the emotional investment and, of how it just hits the chest. It really hits the chest, and it kind of makes you put things in perspective to how you navigate through your own life. If how choices come with consequences, and we just gotta never lose sight of that. This film really, really hits that nail.
Yeah, there was some stuff that came out after this. Interestingly enough, Mission Impossible was the follow-up film to this, and that became a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
There you go.
Snake Eyes, I remember having that film and not really liking it a whole lot. No. Mission to Mars, that's some acquired taste, but apparently, according to him, there was a lot of studio interference with that. One that I did like, which is also a pretty strange film, is Femme Fatale from 2002 with Antonio Banderas and Rebecca Romijn, and that is a really wild, film, but it definitely does exemplify some of the touchstones of Brian De Palma filmmaking, man. There's some cool stuff in there. The Black Dahlia, also, I got to rewatch that. That was based on the Black Dahlia murder case, from, LA back in the day. And I think that was the same year. I think there were multiple films tackling this topic built around that,
Yeah.
And, so after 2006, the only thing I'm showing here is Redacted, Passion, and Domino, and I haven't seen either one of those.
Domino was good.
Domino is not the one that you think is good. Domino is the Domino. You're thinking of the Tony Scott Domino.
Oh.
That's the one that was good. This is not that. Oh. So this is 2019 Domino. Okay. And I haven't seen that. So pretty sure you haven't seen this 2019 Domino.
I'm thinking of the Tony Scott.
But like I said, man, this guy has a storied career, and honestly, there's a really good documentary out about him just called De Palma. And it's really good because he's talking about his own career in this film from the very beginning. And what I think is interesting at this time, I think it was De Palma, Spielberg, Oliver Stone, and I think even George Lucas were all buddies, at this early point in their career. And it's crazy to see how some of this stuff is interconnected. Like some of them taking jobs because one of them was too busy and referred the other one to take it, and just really crazy, time in Hollywood, with these young guys just out there, just swinging for the fences and being really creative and trying to do things that haven't been done or seen before. You know?
I mean, and it's good when you got people in your corner that are trying to put you on instead of put you down. You know what I mean? That's the kind of those kind of people we all need in our corner.
Because he's got bangers, man. Yeah. Scarface, Untouchables, Casualties of War, Bonfire to Vanities. That's one that's definitely worth talking about. Right. Raising Cain, that was a crazy movie, dude. Yeah, man. So
man, Lithgow in it.
Yeah, this guy's a beast, man. Yeah, definitely. But I think we could wrap this up, man, and tell y'all we gonna be back because I know we will.
Hell yeah, we will. We ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, make sure you check out Carlito's Way again, man. If you haven't seen it, why are you even here, man? Don't even be watching this if you haven't seen it. But make sure you tell your friends about us, subscribe to the channel, like it, turn on notifications so you know that we drop. Because I know how many of you actually have the notifications on, and it's not a lot of you, which is kind of concerning, bro. What you don't want to know when this magic is dropping? You know what I'm saying?
And buy some shit. You don't want to wear a cool shirt while you watch?
Yeah. Click the links below. You can get you a Classes of Cinematic shirt, magnet, a coffee mug. We up in here, man. We got all this stuff, so help support us and help, us to bring you this content.
There you go.
Catch me at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram. We're also on at Classes of Cinematics on Instagram, and we're on TikTok. Just search Classes of Cinematics.
And this Bobby Blockbuster. As always, you can catch me on the next show.
All right. Peace.